Welcome and thank you everyone for being here. I am Mayor Keith James and I'm joined on the podium by our emergency management administrator, Assistant Chief Brent Bloomfield, and Assistant Chief Sarah Mooney. We have a few quick updates that we'd like to share with you. First, Hurricane Dorian remains a very powerful Category 4 hurricane, still capable of bringing storm surge and tropical storm force or potentially hurricane force winds to our community. We remained under a hurricane warning, and the city's Emergency Operations Center is at level 1 activation status. Right now, no curfew is in effect for our city, but for the safety of our residents and our first responders, we ask that everyone shelter in place. Stay off the road, avoid sightseeing, because there could be downed power lines and trees, standing water, and your safety is paramount to all of us. Now, as a result of storm surge and king tide, we are beginning to observe some flooding along certain parts of Flagler Drive. We're asking the public to avoid the following areas: the 1500 block of North Flagler, 8th Street and North Flagler, Banyan Boulevard and Flagler Drive, and South Flagler from Southern Boulevard to Suma Road. Let me repeat those. Areas to avoid include the 1500 block of North Flagler, 8th Street and North Flagler, Banyan Boulevard and Flagler Drive, and South Flagler from Southern Boulevard to Suma Road. And we expect that these conditions could worsen into the night as we start receiving more rain bands, as well as king tide, the effective king tide persisting. Now, all of these locations are within the B evacuation zone, for which there were mandatory evacuations issued yesterday, so hopefully there are very few people in those areas. The mandatory evacuations for zones A and B remain in effect. Our residents may, in any of those zones, may seek shelter at any of the 9 general population shelters, including the shelter at Forest Hill Community High School. And a pet shelter and a special needs shelter are open. The special needs shelter will require prior registration. Finally, our call center continues to receive many questions about trash and garbage pickup. As we had announced last week, and as we have continued to announce, both from this podium and through our news releases, trash and garbage pickup and landscaping debris removal have all been suspended in our city due to the threat of the storm. We urge all of our citizens to secure trash and garbage cans as well as landscaping debris, as these may become projectiles in a storm or they may clog storm drains. Additionally, the Solid Waste Authority is closed on today and tomorrow, which means that the city does not have a location at which to drop off trash and garbage and landscaping debris. We thank everyone for their cooperation, and once the storm passes and we have cleared the roads and conducted a post-storm assessment, we will resume sanitation services as soon as we are able. A few notification notes: to report concerns or storm damage, please call the Mayor's Response Hotline at 561-822-2222. The TTY number is 800-955-8771. For additional hurricane preparedness information, please visit www.wpb.org/storm. To call the West Palm Beach Police Department for non-emergencies, dial 561-822-1900. And in the event of an emergency, you can always dial 911. The TTY to contact the police is 1-800-955 8771. Couple of additional things. We have been asked the question as to whether or not we are releasing water from Magonia Park and Clear Lake, Magonia Lake and Clear Lake. We are not, because that is those lakes are within normal operational boundaries, even with the expectation of 4 to 5 inches of rain. So they have not been lowered. You know, it's important to note that our system is a rainwater-driven system, and we like to capture all the rainwater that we can so that we can continue to produce drinking water for our citizens. And then finally, I would just encourage everyone to avoid the consequences of complacency. We know the storm is slow moving, and we still do not know its exact path, but because we have not yet begun to realize the full effects of the storm, there's no reason to let our guard down. We will begin experiencing tropical storm force winds probably as early as later this afternoon or evening, and they will persist, we believe, until Wednesday, and we may even get some hurricane force winds between now and Wednesday. So this is still a ride that we need to buckle up on, and we ask that all of our citizens please heed the advice of local emergency officials. It is paramount that every one of our citizens remain safe during this hurricane, but keep in mind this is a significant weather event that requires continued vigilance so that we can avoid any unnecessary actions. And as I've always said, the most difficult period is after the storm passes. We would request that all of our citizens remain sheltered in place until there is a all clear notice issued by emergency officials. So I'm willing to take any questions from all of you out there. Any questions from any of the gathered media? Yes, sir, Mr. Doris.
I know the answer to this, but you might want to say something about it. I noticed it in the Northwest and some of the other low-income neighborhoods of the city, that very few people have shutters for their homes. And I was wondering if there are any programs, any help from the city to look after these people.
We do, and if there is anyone requiring assistance or needing assistance, they can call the mayor's hotline, and we could try to direct them to resources. We would encourage them to do that quickly, because time is indeed running out for shuttering and other preparations. Thank you for that question.
I'd also like to ask how we're doing, asked you briefly before, Chief Mooney, on crime in the city. With things shut down, are people still out and about? Are people complying? Are you getting any particular kinds of calls?
Basically, our officers have been out and patrolling the areas. There's a lot less activity than we would normally see on a Labor Day. Our calls for service have been steady, but nothing significant at this time. People seem to be getting along pretty well right now. I think they're starting to get a little cabin fever, though, also. So we got to, reaffirm that we need to ask people to shelter in place and make sure that they ride this storm out, and once they reach the all clear, come on out. And just get along. Be patient. We're trying to be patient. Everybody's a little antsy with this, but fortunately, everybody's been behaving pretty well.
Any other questions?
Are the garages, are the garages full and locked down?
The garages are locked down. I can't say whether they're full or not. I believe they are, but they have been locked down throughout the city. And I will repeat that there will be no egress from those garages until an all clear notice is issued. Anything else?
No one can leave them.
No one can leave the garages until an all clear notice is issued. That's correct. And to piggyback on what the chief said, I just appeal to the better angels and all of us who are going through this event. I have found from hurricanes past that a real sense of community does tend to percolate to the top as we all seek to help others, our neighbors. And we are all neighbors in this experience. And I would just encourage everyone to exercise patience and to assist someone near you, a neighbor, to get through this. And I'm confident, because I have full faith in our city, in the staff that is assembled here, and in the residents of our city, that we will come through this very well. And I know that the citizens of this city will stand up and be courageous in the face of this threat. Yes, sir.
The fact that so much of Flagler is already flooding before any storm has gotten here, does that point to you to a larger problem that needs to be addressed sometime soon? There's been a lot of flooding forever on Flagler. Is there any thought in one of your transition committees to just get this problem addressed?
Well, it isn't as if we haven't been attempting to address this problem. We do have a number of infrastructure plans in place. I wouldn't say that so much of Flagler is flooding. I was just touring there earlier this afternoon. There are spots on Flagler where we have flooding. We acknowledge that, and we do acknowledge that there are flooding problems both at the north end and the south end that have been recognized and will be addressed and are planning to be addressed, absolutely. And we anticipate that with this weather event, there will probably be even more flooding. But this does not bring to our attention something that we did not already know about. Okay? Thank you all very much.